This whistleblower is Al Capone's accountant. Remember, Al Capone wouldn't have gone to jail if it wasn't for the meticulous accounting records that his accountant did. It was all under code. And nobody wanted him to testify. I should say, the good guys wanted him to testify. The bad guys, even the bad guys in the police, did everything they could to make sure he never testified. Al Capone wanted him any place but on the witness stand because he was the only guy that could crack open all of it. Now, he didn't want to testify against Al Capone. He knew what that meant. He's probably a dead man. He didn't want to do it. He wasn't necessarily on the side of the good guys. But they finally got him to court, and he testified.
But Al Capone never would have put his accountant forward, right? Like the Democrats, they went to Schiff was involved in this beforehand. They highlighted this guy as the whistleblower, and if he's the guy that unravels all of this, why would they want to promote his profile?
Why? People do really stupid things. Okay?
Congressional stupidity is a good argument, a good comeback.
And in passion, when your only goal is destroy him at any cost, destroy him. When your passion is that high, you make stupid mistakes. Why would Al Capone keep a detailed accounting record of who he was bribing, how it was going, money going here to there? Why would you keep that in paper? Arrogance.
But he's actually running a business, right? There's a reason.
So is
for
the
him.
DNC.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So is the DNC.
But you could have easily, instead of doing a whistleblower report to get this whole thing kicked off, you could have leaked it to the New York Times and had them write an article about this call, and you would have had a ball rolling in that way. Then you all could have been out publishing, we need these transcripts and blah, blah, blah. You could have done all of that, right?
Yes, but you needed somebody to lodge the complaint withstanding. Remember, that's the whole whistleblower thing. You have to lodge it withstanding.
Well, for a whistleblower complaint. But to get an impeachment done, you could have started this with a media report easily. And it could have built.
Right, but the whole idea with the Democrats has been get somebody on the inside. Get somebody who's on the inside. They're around him the whole time. He's crazy. He's dangerous. Mm-hmm. That was part of this. There's this guy. He's a career diplomat. He's been around forever. He's just a guy in the White House. He was part of that phone call. He heard it and he was so upset about it. And he's been hearing other people that were so upset. Well, there weren't really necessarily a lot of people that were really upset that were on the phone call. He didn't even say there was quid pro quo. When he first wrote his account, there was no mention of quid pro quo until he met with Adam Schiff. But let's back up for a second. Mm-hmm. This guy, I believe he is in danger. But I believe that the Democrats have been saying this. Look, he was the guy until 5 days after our chalkboard. Now, I'm not suggesting to you that that definitely is what did it, but I do believe, because I know everyone on Capitol Hill was talking about that chalkboard within the first couple of days of that chalkboard being out. Okay, they watched it as groups. So that got out. What do they have? This guy is center. He was a missing piece that we didn't even know existed. And if you'll remember, we did the chalkboard. 5 days later, they're like, don't worry about this guy. Yeah, this guy might have political connection, so don't even worry about this guy. This guy, we got another guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember that? Mm-hmm. And they just tried to brush him off and bury him. And I said on the air, who cares about another whistleblower? We have the transcripts.
Right.
But once you know the name of this guy and you can do your homework and see where he was positioned, he's the smoking gun. He's the smoking gun. He's the guy in the center of all of this. It even goes back to before the inauguration. His attorney now, listen to this. His attorney is the guy who, in 2017 inauguration, he starts talking about how Trump has got to go. as soon as in July of 2017, he says, I predict CNN is going to play a key role in the real Donald Trump not finishing out his first term as president. We'll get rid of him, and this country is strong enough to survive him and even his supporters. As one falls, meaning as one person leaves the White House that is not on the side of Donald Trump, as one falls, two more will take their place. He promised that a coup would occur in many steps. The coup has this is the whistleblower's attorney in 2017. The coup has started. First of many steps, rebellion, impeachment will follow ultimately.
A terrible attorney. Why would you be publicly tweeting these things?
Well,
You're gonna have credibility later on.
Because he tweeted this. Soon as the president took office, he tweeted that CIA employees should come to his law firm to lawfully challenge the new president. So he was recruiting CIA agents.
He's like the guy with the mesothelioma commercials.
Yes,
like,
yes.
Do you have mesothelioma? Come to my office.
Would you like to impeach this president? We can help. Okay, so that's who this guy is. He's calling for CIA agents to come into his office who want to help get this president impeached. That's at inauguration. Now, the whistleblower happens to be a CIA agent. He happens to be the guy who was at Joe Biden's side. He's the guy who was in the Oval Office when Barack Obama was calling in all of the investigators into Washington from Ukraine and having a very awkward meeting that even the good guy prosecutors all said was really weird. Basically, they called us into Washington to see if we could help them find dirt on Donald Trump. He was the guy who is at the embassy helping Chalupa. He's in the White House organizing things with Chalupa. This is the woman who was the one that coordinated and did all of the Trump investigation, was the go-between, it appears, between the Ukrainians and the Fusion GPS.
And it's also a fried flour tortilla wrapped around meat, cheese, sour cream, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Right. So now this is just a coincidence that he was involved with all of these people. It's a coincidence that his attorney is talking about a coup and taking him out and plotting an impeachment. It's also a coincidence that the day after Robert Mueller closes his case and says there's nothing here, the guy comes out and says, I've got a concern, but doesn't say quid pro quo. Says, I have a concern about a phone call. Really? That's interesting. And they immediately shift gears from Mueller to this guy. He goes to Adam Schiff, and then all of a sudden he has an attorney. Guess who Schiff sends him to? This guy. He now has an attorney, and he includes quid pro quo. That's all of that is just a coincidence?
I'm gonna blow your mind here. I don't think it is. I know
it's weird.
It's almost as if they had is there a doubt at this point that there were large amounts of people working not only for the left and Democrats, but also just in the State Department and other places in the government, whose entire goal since Donald Trump took president was to make him not president anymore? I don't think there's really a doubt on that at all.
Nope.
Right? That's clearly true. And they would probably say, well, we did it because of good reasons. He was doing things that were erratic for the country and bad for the country, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. You can believe that if you want. However, the guy was elected president of the United States.
Exactly
and
right.
He controls these things. And if he controls these things, it's your job to either support them or resign. Unless you believe something illegal is going on, which some of them say there was. And they did this whistleblower thing. All that is fine, but it's all inside of an obvious structure and movement within the government and within the Democratic Party to get this guy removed from office the second he was elected. And that is, it's an undercurrent that can't be ignored.
So this whistleblower, it is critical that this whistleblower makes it to an open witness stand, and the cross-examination is prepared to ask him about all of the things that he was doing in Ukraine, because he's the linchpin. He's the go-between on all of these things, on Fusion GPS, on the Joe Biden corruption, on all of it. He is the accountant. Now, the press, I've never seen anything like it, and it felt weird at the time. As soon as they started talking about this whistleblower, and they said, well, who is the whistleblower? The minute that question was asked, you're going to get him killed. You're going to get him killed. Wait, we're just wondering who he is. You're going to get him killed. 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 Well, now I know why. This guy is more dangerous to the DNC than Jeffrey Epstein. If this guy isn't protected, not from the right, but from the left, this guy's going to end up hanging himself with paper sheets while in custody. This guy is the buried body. He knows all of it. He's the tie between all of it. He is the key to the massive corruption of the DNC. And I don't think anybody wants to get into that. Now, they're again saying that Donald Trump Jr. Outed him. And so Donald Trump Jr. is going to get him killed. Believe me, everyone on the right wants him to testify. When you know his name and you see the connections and you've watched our special on Ukraine, you know he's the most important person to put on the stand. You want him alive. You want him to testify. I want him under protection of the Republicans, not the Democrats. Because this guy knows where all the bodies are buried. And if this guy testifies, you're going to be able to pull his testimony apart and you'll see what's really going on.